What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of X Factor Fantasy Football with the crew. Jenna, Jordan, Swipa. What's going on? Hope y'all having a fantastic day. Some of us are 0-2, but not to worry. It's early in the fantasy football season. Jordan is 1-1, trying to make me a bogus trade today, but I will not let somebody take advantage of my causalities right now. Jenna, how are you doing today?
That was not a bogus trade. We can explain to the people if you want.
I want to hear about this trade. Yeah, I'm having a great day. I'm feeling good about Thursday night football. I feel like I need to apologize for the bets I gave out for the last time we met on Monday. Monday night football bets were not it. Hayden Hurst chucks that ball out into the crowd, and it was like he wasn't going to get a touch for the rest of the night. He was wide open. Y'all watched that game, right?
Mm-hmm.
My man was wide open. It was crazy. It was the only leg of that parlay that didn't hit. It sucked.
Yeah, well, that's not the worst thing. Jordan, you want to explain this trade you tried to finagle off me today?
Yeah, I offered you
offered
you Puka and Saquon's backup for Calvin Ridley and Fab?
$22 in Fab.
Yeah, I don't think that's the worst trade in the world, especially when you have Cooper Kupp, right? So you get security, and even if anyone's target share diminishes, you're going to have the one option and the two option in their passing offense. I have
take advantage of me losing Saquon.
Here's one thing. I follow this rule, and I don't know if other people do. It may not feel this way to the other person. I don't offer trades that I think are like lopsided to the other person. I don't, because I always have the paranoia of, if you do that, the other person is never going to want to deal with you again. So I never try to offer a trade that I actually think is lopsided.
Right.
So with that trade, my philosophy was I would end up with Ridley and Kirk. So I have target security there. You have Puka and Kupp. Obviously, Kupp's going to be Kupp no matter what. But you have a security of, okay, if he's still hampered, or hey, if they can both coexist in the offense, you have a bona fide 1 and 2 every week. And then obviously Saquon's backup. Saquon's out for a few weeks.
You know his name. Yeah, he can't even say his name. He didn't even bring himself to say his name.
I know his name is Matt Breida. I just said his backup, so the people, I don't know if the people, everybody knows who Matt Breida is. But you have Saquon. Saquon's going to be out for at least this week, maybe 2 or 3. So you would have
3 weeks. He's out for 3 weeks of it. So
3 weeks, yep. So you would have his handcuff back up on the roster, who's probably going to be starting. Now the Fab was a bit much. I will say that the Fab was a lot, but yeah, that's not the worst trade in the world. That's not the worst trade.
No, it's not the worst. It's not the worst of all time, though.
Yeah,
so
no.
But Jordan, you're asking for $22 in Fab?
Yeah.
No, he wants to give me. No, I thought you wanted to give me 22.
I would probably do the trade either way, but I was asking. Yeah.
The deal is, asking me for $22. Yeah, that's right. It was giving me Puka, Matt Breida, and Ridley in $22 in Fab. No, I'm good.
Here's the thing: not everybody values Fab like that. I do, but in our league, like I saw some of the offers being thrown around earlier. Like not everybody. I don't know if it's because they don't understand the concept of Fab, which a lot of people don't, or like really can process it to the fact where you extrapolate it throughout a whole season. Some people are like, $20 of app, sure. I don't know what this is. Here you go. But yeah, I would probably do that trade with or without the Fab. The Fab is like, oh, if I can get it, then sure, of course I'm going to try to get it. But yeah, there's worse. Yeah. I've offered worse trades.
I don't need that trade. I mean, it depends on the Fab, I guess. Like I wouldn't. Yeah. I thought you were giving him the $22 in Fab plus.
I wouldn't do it if I was giving him all that in 22. No.
For Calvin, after you. Swipa, you were low on Calvin, like on the last episode we recorded. You were like, yeah, I'm not so sure that's going to pan out for forever.
No, I didn't. I said Calvin could be a top 5 wide receiver this year.
I think that's a bit much now, but he could.
That's not you can't do that one bad week versus apparently elite Kansas City Chiefs defense.
Top 5 is.
I mean, go through the list. Go through the list of 5. It's Jamar Chase is currently not top 30. So you got Tyreek Hill. You got Mike Evans apparently out of nowhere, Justin Jefferson. So who would be the other 2 names from that list? Because Cooper Kupp obviously is not going to be able to qualify unless he just goes bonkers.
Now I'm taking Amon-Ra.
Amon-Ra?
Yeah, Amon-Ra. Yeah, I'm taking him. Let me pull up the list. Oh, obviously CD. That's easy. What else? And I'm still betting on Jamar. Like I know Jamar.
No, I agree. I'm
Yeah.
not letting go of
But
Jamar
yeah,
yet.
top 10. Calvin could be top 10. He could be top 10.
I think at least top 7. If he gets target volume throughout 17 weeks, I think top 7 is pretty easy.
Yeah. He could do that. That's what that could be where the disconnect is on the trade offer. Like for me, I'm viewing Calvin as like 10, 15, right? You could be viewing Calvin as bona fide top 5 or 7.
Well, he has 18. He has 19 targets through the first 2 weeks, which
that's pretty good. That's really good. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. So I think that's actually a good thought process for people watching, where it's like sometimes a trade seems lopsided one way or the other, where it's like in the mind of the person offering it, they could think they're offering a fair trade because of like, oh, I don't value this person that I'm trying to get, even though I'm trying to get them, I don't value them as much as the person who has them currently is like in their head it's a top 5 person. In my mind, Ridley's like, okay, top 10, top 12, 15, something like that, top 10 to 12 receiver.
Well, he's 23 right now, so
I think he'll end up at 12 in the top 12.
I don't think any regular season rankings right now are worth a dang because Kirk Cousins is, like I said, the number 1 ranked quarterback in fantasy right now, and he's on pace for 6,000 yards this season.
Yeah, that's the thing is like I was thinking about last podcast that we did, and I was like, dang, I can't believe I said that. You know, I was thinking about, I think it was specifically about Deshaun Watson, right? And I was worried like, I was talking about his game, but not necessarily, or his fantasy game, not necessarily his game. And then obviously the injury that happened the other night was killer. And then I thought back and I'm like, whoa, did people take that the wrong way? Did they take it? I was like, he's their whole offense, because he's clearly not their offense, right? But if it comes down to fantasy, it's not bad on the points. But we have a question already in the chat. Should I pick up Gus Edwards, Dalvin Cook, or Kareem? And we were going to definitely do a segment on this topic, like who should I start over another guy?
Right.
Do you guys want to help out Parker and answer this question?
Easily, Gus.
Gus Edwards,
It's an easy, Gus.
Easy. Justice might be out this week. He's got a little toe thing. He's not for sure out, but he's in jeopardy this week. Dalvin, I don't know what that is right now. And then Kareem is not a bad option. I got.
Wait, do you think Kareem's going to be RB2 with Cleveland?
Oh yeah, in Cleveland, yeah, absolutely.
No. Is he going to be RB2 like in their system, like behind?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
You think he's going to be the backup running back?
Yeah, I believe so. He could take over, but I think for at least the first couple of weeks, it's going to be Jerome's job. But even if he isn't, I mean, Jerome was able to get carries with Chubb there.
Well, so they always do that kind of system, though.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think there'll be room for whoever the second back is to be at least flex worthy in that system. So there's room for 2 backs. So Kareem is definitely a good option, but Gus, I think the volume's there with Gus. I'm going Gus easy.
Okay, so we got a Gus. I think I'm probably leaning Kareem, but again, if Gus Edwards stays healthy the whole year, then he's a touchdown merchant. We'll see what happens with that.
Well,
yeah. What else do you think, Jenna?
I lean towards Kareem too, but that's just, I don't know. I guess I haven't watched enough of Gus to give him a fair shot.
And I think it also depends on where. I think it depends on where you value, or what position you're in. Like if you're 0-2, right, and you need somebody to start this week, or like more short-term type of a thing, like you need a punch right now at running back. Say if you lost Kareem Hunt this past Monday, like I did, then yeah, you're probably gonna go for somebody like Gus, or you might want to go for somebody like Gus. But if you can afford to stash someone and then just see how it plays out, probably could be some more upside there with Kareem. But even with that, I think it's close because Gus is not going anywhere in that offense because JK's down.
All right. Well, we have a few things that we can lean into because there's a lot of stuff that's happening right now. So, Jenna, did you want to lead us off with who would you rather to start off this segment?
Well, it's called Who Would You Start? But you could call it Who Would You Rather? It just sounds like we're talking about something else when you say it like that. But at least if you're a girl, so
Right.
guys never maybe crosses straight men's minds, but maybe it does. The game is who would you start, right? Because we've gotten a lot of questions, at least in the first couple of weeks. Like the questions that we have gotten have been who do I either pick up, like Parker's question, or who would you guys start, this guy or this guy? So I want y'all to look at your rosters, on your own roster, think of somebody, a question, two guys that you would be debating between. I was going to use Kirk Cousins and Joe Burrow, who I have those two quarterbacks in another league as my example, but obviously Joe not playing this weekend makes it an easy decision, right? Like Kirk is number one QB in the league right now. His numbers have been out of this world, but they're playing against the Chargers, so I was a little bit hesitant to play him. Although
I just don't want to see Kirk Cousins eating your home team alive.
So I expected. I put him on. I started him. And according to for this fantasy league, I use a different app, and in that app, it tells you you could have an optimized, more points projected, and it'll tell you, and it's saying that I should start Burrow, and I was like, no, not gonna do that unless I hear something different game day.
Right.
But the other two that I really am wondering is for my running back position. I have Breece Hall there right now. But I have James Cook and Tyler Algier on that roster. Not sure. Who would you start? Breece Hall or Algier or Cook?
Who's Breece going against?
The Jets this week.
Oh, they're kind of
They
Patriots.
play New England. New England currently has the
24th.
They have the 23rd, 23rd, 24th, depending on the app you're on, ranked rush defense right now.
Who did they play the first couple weeks? They played Philly, and then they played who did they just play?
The Chiefs? Or no, Dallas.
Nope, not Dallas. Miami. They just played Miami.
Oh,
Raheem Mostert.
Yeah. And then
he had 2 TDs.
Yeah. What's James Cook? Who's he going up against? Buffalo
plays against Buffalo is playing
Commanders.
Yeah, the Commanders. They just got torched, but their run defense obviously was relatively decent.
Right.
Go ahead, Jenna.
Oh, I was just saying they're 8th ranked run defense. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean towards. This is one of those situations where it's like I'm gonna lean towards James Cook slightly, very, very, very slightly. I'm thinking about New England. I feel like they're going to try to make the Jets lean into throwing the football. So I don't know. Belichick likes to take away either your best weapon or what you do best. Try to at least. So I don't think Zach Wilson is good enough of a passer to make them have to make a calculation.
But Breece was eating though last year with Zach Wilson to start the year off before he went down.
Yeah, he was. I think that I'm gonna go. This is one of the situations where I'm going with the better offense, though. I'm going to trust the potential of just the better offense. Now, there's a potential for Breece to break a big run, or just for the Jets trying to lead it into him despite whatever. But for James, the passing game usage is there. He's explosive himself, and they just play in a better, more functional offense. And I feel like that's going to put them in scoring chances and opportunities more often. So they're going to be in the red zone more. They're going to be in plus territory more. So that's more chances for Cook to potentially be near the end zone. So score a touchdown. So I'm going to lean with him for that reason, but I don't think either one of those is a bad answer.
Yeah, I'm good with James Cook here too. I think James Cook is solidified with RB2 going forward the rest of the season. I mean, his volume's been there. 12 attempts. He had 12 attempts game 1, 17 attempts this last game, and that could continue to steady climb, or you could stay around there. And again, the Washington Commanders front, even as he got 6 targets in game 1 and 4 targets in the second game. So he's getting rushing volume and he's getting passing opportunities as well. So I mean, that's a decent RB2 flex option.
And you're taking Cook over Algier as well.
Yeah, Algier's snap count went down last week, and then Bijan I think he had 19 carries last week, and I think as the season goes on, that's only going to get a little higher for him too. So I think for this week,
All right. Okay, well, I'm going to change my roster then. Who's got the next? Who would you start?
I got two of them, or two quick ones. I have Kirk and Dak as my quarterbacks. So there's one right there. Kirk, you're going Kirk? Okay.
He plays the Chargers.
Yeah, exactly. And that
they're a hot trash, by the way.
Dak does play the Cardinals. So there's that.
You said who? Dak does? Did you see what the Cardinals apparently did in the first half versus the Giants?
Yeah.
That vaunted Cardinals defense.
Yep. We saw Daniel Jones ending numbers. If anything, I'm scared of Dak leaving that game early because they're up so much and just not.
I feel like that might be a Tony Pollard game though versus the Cardinals.
Yeah. They might just try to not do too much and just get out of there. Who would you go with?
I think the thing is with Kirk's passing volume is so freaking high.
Yeah.
Alexander Madison cannot run the ball.
Yep.
So on top of that, no disrespect to J.C. Jackson and them, but they are literally getting obliterated in the passing game right now. So I would much rather trust Kirk because bombs away Jordan Addison, bombs away Justin Jefferson, bombs away T.J. Hockenson, maybe K.J. Osborne jumps into the party as well. I think it's going to be a party for Kirk Cousins on Sunday.
Both of those teams are 0-2 as well. So
the Vikings don't feel 0-2 though, man. They've been playing really good games.
I hope they feel 0-3 after next week.
I was a Vikings hater last year just because I was betting the spread against them and winning all the time. So I was just leaning into that. But I'm really worried about the Chargers going up against Kirk in this game. Like I genuinely, I mean, personally, as a Chargers fan, I think it should be like coach's head is out there. This is a final straw kind of situation. If they lose, he should probably.
You think Staley gets fired?
I think he should get fired. I feel like what are we talking about? How many times are we going to let this happen? This situation's like end of game.
You said what?
When's their bye?
They don't have a bye until. Let me see this.
If it's an early bye, I could see him getting fired at the bye if they're like 1-something.
I heard a stat today about how like Justin Herbert is the only player.
They have a week 5 bye. If they're 0-4, he's out week 5. I'm calling it. If they go 0-4, 1-3, you're not gonna get rid of him. But 0-4, week 5 bye, time to reset. Yeah, and then who they have right after the bye?
Right after the bye, the Chargers play versus they play Dallas.
Oh yeah, he's out of there. If they were so happy,
if he's not out of their bye week, he's out of there after that Dallas game.
Yeah, he's gone. So they better win one of these next 2 games, or he's out of there.
Jenna, what were you saying about Justin Herbert?
That I heard some stat today about how he's one of the only quarterbacks to have allowed 1-score games to go the other direction when he's ahead in 1-score games that they've lost the last 10 or something like that he's been a part of. The Chargers pass defense is 34th or something, 31st against quarterbacks. So it's I feel like Kirk is the smartest option because of what we've seen him do so far.
Right.
But it's tough because it's not I think Kirk Cousins is a better QB than some of these guys that we've
Well, they're both projected at almost the same point total this week. I'm leaning Kirk, but it's definitely a tough calculation. Last one I had was Hopkins or DeAndre Hopkins or Christian Kirk.
Who did they play?
Let's see here. DeAndre Hopkins plays against Cleveland, great defense, and then Kirk is against Houston. So,
well, Kirk had a balled out game last week, so I would say they're probably starting Christian Kirk in that situation.
Okay. Jenna?
Yeah. Jenna, quickly, Kirk or you got Hopkins?
No, I agree with Kirk, which is kind of shocking, but
all right. So
bias, I guess.
So while Jordan has a few more minutes with this, so we get a Thursday night football preview. So you have the Giants without Saquon going up against the San Francisco 49ers. Who are you starting and playing in this game on? Well, we'll start with the Giants. Are you starting anybody for the Giants this week?
Daniel Jones.
You're starting Daniel versus the 40. Well, yeah, I guess to be fair, Matthew Stafford played decently well versus them last week. So
yeah, and their secondary, I mean, not like Giants have anybody to take advantage of this, but their secondary, it's not as good as their front seven. I'll put it to you that way. It's not as their pass defense is not as good as them, and in coverage at least is not as good as them either rushing the passer or their run defense. So there could be opportunities there, but Giants don't really have anybody to take advantage. But there's all that rushing upside with Daniel Jones, and plus, if you drafted him, a lot of people drafted Daniel Jones to be like a late round option as their only quarterback. So I don't think that there could be. So I have to look and see if there's any matchups out there on the waiver wire.
Well, I will say on the waiver wire there might be available because Russell Wilson playing Miami this week, and he's on a lot of people's waiver wire. He's starting. Right now he's QB3 again. Okay. Early season, he's QB3. And then you also have Brock Purdy versus the Giants if you need somebody on the waiver wire.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett's playing the Raiders. Matthew Stafford playing Cincinnati. And again, this people might laugh at this, y'all. Baker Mayfield is playing versus Philadelphia, and they have the 32nd ranked pass defense right now.
Can't laugh at it at this point. He's playing very well through 2 weeks. Cannot laugh at it. And then on the other side, I'm playing the guys I would normally play. Kittle's been a bit concerning. I would say you got one more week. This is probably the last week I'm firing him up and putting him out there with no questions. If it doesn't work this week, then might have to look at streaming somebody else. Ayuk, play. I would play him if he's in. Obviously Debo and obviously McCaffrey. So and you just mentioned Purdy if you are quote unquote desperate at quarterback. So yeah, those are the guys from that game I'm playing. It's really like 5 or 6, and 5 of them just have to be.
Yeah, I'm running up everybody personally. I'm CMC, Kittle, Debo, IU. Up that 49er defense too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, absolutely, good call. Yeah, always firing that up.
What about you, Jenna? What you got for this week?
You all just named like everybody I could possibly name. So what do you want me to say? I mean, probably not playing or likely not to play as far as I heard today. So I don't know if you want to get somebody off the waiver wire, like a wide receiver or Debo if you have them. But yeah.
Oh, and then before you just make sure we're getting this hard out at. So we have, and then Jenna, we can go over the Sunday games after this as well. But Jordan, what do you think about this? So what would you do this trade to get Mixon, give up Ayuk and Rashad White?
You get Mixon and you give up. I almost cussed on the air.
Rashad White.
I almost cussed on the air. No, I would not do that trade by any means. They might lean into Mixon a bit more, especially if Burrow misses some time or not, or even if he's in, just because he can't really step up in the pocket right now and stretch the field. So there might be a little bit more dinking and ducking. But Rashad has.
By the way, we have an alert. The Rams are
Where's he going?
The Rams are sending Cam Akers to the Minnesota Vikings.
Wow.
So that blows up all of the Alexander Madison RB1 takes for the year. So is that a trade? Immediate response. Are you comfortable with Cam Akers? Or are you trying to roll him out, play him, or are you targeting him? Do you think that's going to be a good situation for him?
I think it could be a good situation for him. But I don't know what the thought process is there for the Vikings. I don't know any of the compensation. That obviously tells you a lot about how they're thinking. But clearly, Madison is not going to be just alone in that backfield anymore. And I'm happy I didn't trade for him. I was trying to figure out a trade for him earlier today in our league, Swipa. But glad I didn't do that. But so yeah, we'll have to give it at least a game or two of data gathering. But to answer that question, no, I'm not doing that Mixon for Rashad White and Ayuk trade. That's ridiculous. White himself has top I would say top 15 upside. He could be a top 15 back in fantasy this year. Ayuk could be a bona fide wide receiver 2-3 fringe, that type area. And what am I getting back in Mixon? A RB2.
Hey, first off, relax. Respect Joe Mixon, goal line merchant. Yeah. So we have another one. Said, loving the stream, already a sub. Should I trade Garrett Wilson, TJ Hawkinson, Amari Cooper, and Jalen Hurts for Ramondre Stevenson, Saquon Barkley, and AJ Brown?
Oh, no. Keep your team.
Stevenson's like the only good guy. I mean, not the only good guy you're getting, but the only good guy that is performing right now.
Yeah, I mean, you get a better receiver. You're giving away a premium at tight end. Well, I mean, that receiver stuff could actually end up being a push.
AJ Brown starts catching the ball, yeah.
Yeah, you're giving up Garrett Wilson for Barkley, but you're giving up Jalen Hurts. No. If your backup is somebody like amazing at quarterback, then I might consider it. But like, no, I'm not doing that deal.
Yeah, that feels like a lot to give up, given where Barkley is injured right now. AJ Brown's target share isn't high enough. I think having Garrett Wilson, TJ, and I also think Jalen Hurts, this is probably the worst he's going to play all year. So I think giving up the potential QB1 in that with another receiver, I think it'd be top 15, top 12 still, and then TJ Hawkinson, who's a bona fide top 4 tight end. I think that's a lot to give up. And 11 receiver.
But real quick on Jalen, buy low candidate. I don't know if anybody's really low on them, but there's some guys that are. There's a few guys, some of which I don't want to mention on air because I want to try to trade for them myself.
You have to tell them. The people need information.
I'll tell them after. I'll tell them on the next show, depending on if a deal gets done or not.
What if you just tell us one?
Okay, one. Well, I mean, the one I was gonna say was Madison. That was the guy. That was a guy who I was definitely going to target.
Why do you want to run him? Never mind. Go ahead.
I wanted a buy low running back who probably wouldn't take but 2 nickels to get. And then it's all upside at that point because he was presumably still going to have the volume in the offense, but not anymore. But appreciate everybody. I'll be back on the next show. Just have to bounce to
Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you.
See you soon, Jordan. All right. So, Jenna, we have a massive slate of Sunday games and a lot of teams that got to get to. So, for Sunday, are there any key matchups that you feel like people should be leaning into? And I'll even start this one off, and it's going to be a surprising one. But I think for me, Jenna, I am really looking at an offensive explosion from that Dolphins and Broncos game. Broncos sleepily have the highest scoring offense per possession. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying the defense is going to be good, but offensively, I think that there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. Could the Broncos defense is going to be trash. They're going to have to throw the ball. I think Russell Wilson is a start this week again. I think that this would be probably the best game Javonte Williams has had. Now, granted. So if you look at Javonte Williams' matchup right now, he is projected for about 11.43 points. But the thing is that the Dolphins' defense, especially their run defense, has not been great to start the year. But I don't know. I think that's going to be a good play. I don't know about Jerry Jeudy or Cortland Sutton because you just never know which one of them are going to hit. But for the Dolphins, I'm firing up Raheem Mostert. I'm firing up Tyreek Hill. I'm firing up Jalen Waddle. And I'm firing up Tua. And I think that's going to be a nice fireworks show. Yeah.
I mean, everyone who's watching should know, right? Know who the speaker is. We could show them your entire roster, Swipa, but Swipa has Williams. He is a Broncos fan. I'm pretty sure your little.
But I'm saying I don't think they're going to win. I'm not saying they're going to win the game.
And we're going up against each other this week, so it's going to be a showdown.
Yeah, well, to be fair, though, audience, I also don't have Cooper Kupp and Saquon. My team is decimated by injuries right now, so she's projected to win by a considerable amount right now.
Decimated by injuries. Derrick Henry questionable. Montgomery questionable. Zay Jones questionable on my roster. Bryce Young questionable. Edwards Hilaire
Bryce Young, you're not playing Bryce Young.
Beckham, all questionable on my roster. So
you're not playing Bryce Young. All right, let me read your roster off. Derrick Henry's more than likely going to play. You have Justin Herbert, Derrick Henry, AJ Brown, Keenan Allen, Dallas Goedert, and then you got apparently RB3 Brian Robinson out of nowhere. And then you still have some people on your bench you could play. So again, if you miss some of those people, then yeah, it's going to be a better matchup. But as of right now, Justin Fields, Dameon Pierce with Javonte, Marquise Brown, Calvin Ridley, Dalton Schultz, Darnell Mooney, Khalil Herbert,
Yeah, you have been taking some L's with this roster.
Yeah, then
You've been taking some L's, but you could give me my first L of the season potentially.
No, maybe
if I don't set this roster right. Oh my God, if Goddard gives me another big goose egg, if there was one guy I could get rid of on our roster, it'd be the tight end. Tight ends are sucking this year. Like I can't find a tight end.
I could trade you Dalton Schultz if that would make you feel better.
No thanks. No thank you. But
right.
It's gonna be a good week. Obviously the Broncos-Dolphins game is going to be exciting. I like the Dolphins this year. They're fun to watch just in general. What was your original question? What game I thought was going to be?
Yeah, do you have any games that are kind of jumping out at you? I think it's going to be some barn burners or games you feel like going to be exciting.
What is a barn burner?
A barn burner? A barn burner is like a shootout. Like, you know what I mean? It's like in college football, they have a really high scoring game. And Gus Johnson, this is a barn burner.
And they go burn down a barn?
Basically, I guess.
My goodness. I had a barn growing up, and all we ever did was box in there. We never did set anything on fire. So I've never heard that saying. Yeah, that's interesting. A barn burner. Okay. I actually think I don't know if I have a barn burner exactly, but I do think that the Chiefs game, the Cowboys game, both of those are going to be like games that I feel like you just know. Overall, I think this week we're going to see an increase in like favored teams winning, right? Because the books have figured it out. There were a couple of upsets those first 2 weeks of games that were a little more shocking. A game I definitely don't want to watch, which is what I would have thought a barn burner was because it's on fire like a shit show, is going to be that Seahawks-Panthers game. I will watch it. I don't even want to watch it.
Why?
I don't want to watch anything that has the Panthers involved again this season. I could not. I mean, their games have been brutal to watch. And then you got the Chiefs going up against the Cardinals. Like,
you don't think
the Cowboys going up against the Cardinals?
Well, that was a high-scoring game last game for the Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, because there was no defense being played, not because I think the Cardinals' offense is like outstanding, right? Like. Against the Cowboys defense, that's going to be a different story. I think the Cowboys blow out that game for sure, cover the spread and win. But the Cowboys, I think, have looked pretty good. One game I think I'm not really sure about. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Bills, Commanders, because the Commanders have come out looking a little bit better than I thought, and the Bills have come out looking a little shakier than I thought. Do they right the ship?
Look, I don't expect Brian Robinson, if you're asking, to have 27 points again this week. So I don't expect that. If that happens, I'm not playing the rest of the week. So Brian Robinson, I think, can have a decent game because the volume's going to be there because Antonio Gibson is not playing. Terry McLaurin, again, their pass defense hasn't been great. I think Terry's a starter. I haven't seen anything for Jahan Dotson that I love to see yet. Logan Thomas might not be available because he got hit with a concussion, I think, last week because of Kareem Jackson hit over the middle in the goal line. Sam Howell's a sneaky play. He's been pretty good. Obviously, you're starting Josh. You're starting Stephon Diggs. You're starting James Cook. But Gabe Davis, Kincaid, I'm probably not really leaning on those guys. If I have better options, I'm playing better people at a flex different than them. But if you have to play Gabe, you can. But I think for sure James Cook with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs are definitely my starts for the Bills.
Actually, one of my who would you rather start was going to be Diggs, Stephon Diggs, or Nico Collins, because Collins is actually outscoring him.
Wait, for Diggs? Oh, you got to start Diggs. You have to. If you drafted Diggs, you got him in the first 2 rounds. Collins, again, what did I say coming into the season? I said Nico Collins was going to be my sleeper because of the volume.
And you're mad that Brian Robinson is getting that volume over in a different situation, right? But what I'm saying
different. No one expected Brian Robinson to be running back 3 2 weeks into the season.
So I had a better sleeper than you, is what you're saying.
No. A sleeper is somebody that's like at the end of the draft. You had a great mid-round selection that's working out really well for you.
Fine. But you would start Stephon Diggs over Nico Collins.
Yeah, I mean, I would put Nico Collins somewhere else.
Okay.
You have Nico on your team?
No, he's on the waiver wire in one of my leagues.
No. Oh, in one of your leagues?
Mm-hmm.
Go get him.
I made too many moves last week. Like in one of my leagues, you can only make so many moves within like a 7-day frame. You can't make.
It's a new week though, isn't it?
But I keep getting that error again. So maybe I made
what league are you in? Nico Collins is on the waiver wire still.
Let me tell you about this league. Puka was on the waiver wire. Kyron Williams was on the waiver wire. Picked both of them up after week 1. I got Bijan Robinson in that league. I have a nice little team. Cook.
You might win both of your leagues, it sounds like, the way things are working out for you. That's crazy.
I got Eckler on that roster and Algier.
How did you get Eckler and Bijan Robinson, first and second round picks?
Bro, I auto drafted in this league.
Yeah.
This is what I'm telling you. This is the type of casual leagues that most of us people play in. Not like a Swipa league where it's serious business and there's fake money involved.
Fake money. It's real money involved. There's real money involved in this league.
Well, I mean, yes, but I'm talking about the fab bucks,
Right.
The fab bucks.
All right. So my last game of the week pick, you know what? I'm standing on it. If Joe Burrow plays that Bengals-Rams game, somebody's going to have to score, bro. There's no way Jamar Chase is going to have less than 10 points again. There's no way. I'm not doing that. There's no way, Jenna. Jamar Chase has to make up for the first 2 weeks. He was literally wide receiver 2 coming off the board this year. He has to have a much better performance. There's just no freaking way. If Joe Burrow doesn't play, then you know what? You have to start Jamar anyway. You're not starting Jamar Chase. So if Joe Burrow plays, they have to target him. They absolutely have to target him. If they don't play, then then whatever. Then he still should get a lot of targets. It just cannot do that. They're playing the Rams. Like, yeah, they have the Aaron Donald's in the front, but they don't have any substantial corners on the roster you have to worry about. Just no way. There's no way. I'm not staking my reputation on this game, but it's almost close. Jamar Chase is gonna have a day. He has to. So
Jamar Chase is gonna have a day. Take the under in this game. Take the under in this Rams-Bengals game, whether Burrow plays or not. Take the under. But I kind of feel like I could see the Bengals actually getting like a motivational win here. One of those. What do they call them? A moral win. A moral win. They got to win. They're 0-2. That's what I mean. I think it's a moral victory. Like, it's going to be a really ugly game, but they're going to eke out the win, and that's going to make them feel better. They went 0-2 to start last season, so they're not really like stressing. You know what I mean? The difference was Burrow wasn't injured at the beginning of last season. So they have their stretches to Rams, they have Tennessee, Arizona. So again, all winnable games, and then Seattle, all winnable games, and then the bye. So yeah, they could very easily rip off 4 straight wins. But the problem is that they just have to do it. Otherwise, they are going to be in a heap of trouble. So that's my other game that I was looking at. If maybe the Eagles, Buccaneers, 2 undefeated teams, Bears, Chiefs. I think Justin Fields has to have a bounce back game, especially after this last weekend. You have. These are just things you think because they're on your roster. No, but I'm saying, but listen. Justin Fields has been like legitimately bad to start the season off. And again, if you got Justin Fields and you got him in the top 6 rounds, more than likely. So I think Justin Fields is another one of those dudes that started off slow last year, ended up really well last year. I think, again, Herbert, like the matchup he has to play well as well. So there are some plugs here. I just think that there are some players that have to perform, and I would just trust those players to get after it. All right. Yeah, Justin Fields has not looked nearly as good as I think people had expected him to look. I was trying to see what their defense is going up against, but there he is. They've been trashed. They just haven't been. I mean, Kansas City hasn't played games up to the expectation that they should be playing games. Like their pass defense is 6, or their defense overall is ranked 6 versus QBs. So at least at the app that I was just looking on. So it could be a better game than people think, because I think everyone just expects, when you hear Chiefs, it's like, no, they're gonna win this. They're minus 700 to win on the money line in that game, the Chiefs. So I don't think, and I'm sure I don't have the spread in front of me, but I don't think people are thinking the Bears are winning that game by any means.
No, the Chiefs
has a full game and actually complete some passes. He doesn't have nearly as much pressure as he had the last 2 weeks. Right.
So anyway, we'll find out, y'all. This is going to be a great week 3. Listen to Jenna. She's 2-0, so obviously she knows what she's doing. I'm 0-2. I'm lost apparently, but it's going to be a good week. A lot of great matchups, y'all. Y'all know what to do. Make sure y'all hit the subscribe button to the X Factor Fantasy Football page as well as the Swipa channel. Jenna and I will be doing stuff for you throughout the year for fantasy football, and we got some more stuff coming up for you as well, because that's what content creators is what we do. But y'all, make sure y'all subscribe. Shout out to y'all. If you win your week, let us know. If you lose your week, let us know. But look, we will be back next Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern. We will see y'all on the other side.